Hey, hope everyone's enjoying their weekend so far. If you're a fan of this channel, you probably know we post a lot of college football highlights, and with draft season ramping up, we'll be sure to keep doing that. But I wanted to see if I could take advantage of a lot of the hype surrounding the transfer portal and switch into more of a focus on recruiting. And being an ECU alum, I thought it would be cool to see if we can kind of look into recruiting tactics and see how a recruiting class is brought together for this upcoming ECU class in 2026, which in my opinion is a really good class to look at in terms of looking at different strategies for new age recruiting. And we'll see a lot of cool players with unique skill sets that really translate into the modern game. So without further ado, we can go ahead and take a look at the upcoming freshman class at ECU in the class of 2026 on the defensive side of the ball. And we're going to mainly be looking at incoming freshmen, not JUCOs or transfer portal players, just to show you a lot of the talent in the area and how ECU's been recruiting. We can go ahead and start with the highest rated player in this class. And excuse me if I mispronounce anyone's name throughout this video. Teronde Spencer, edge coming out of Richmond, North Carolina. Rivals had him rated as a high 3-star or an 88 rating. And when you look at the games, you can see that this player had a lot of development throughout his high school career and eventually settled into being an edge who I can see having a lot of impact at East Carolina. You love to see the power profile from a player still developing. He had 9 sacks as a senior and was one of the key contributors for deep 4A playoff runs in 2024 and 2025. All of this hints that he's going to be able to get on the field right away at ECU. He's rarely going to get outmatched physically, and he's the type of player you can tell play with an edge. He's not going to get bullied out there. He's a very instinctual athlete as well. You know, when you find players in this rating, they're usually playing all over because they're pretty much the best player on the field most of the time. So you can see on the field a decent amount of PBUs. And y'all let me know if he's an early enrollee. He signed back in June. I love that he knows that a strength and conditioning program will allow him to tap into that power profile and let him see the field even earlier if he wasn't an early enrollee. Yeah, and with a lot of players in this range, once he continues to work on that pass rush plan and just lean into that natural strength and athleticism, he'll be a player who is going to be hard to take off the field, or he's going to be a player who will definitely be a 3-down player at the next level. Next, we have Zion Ratchford, who's 6'3", 215-pound edge defender. Went to Gaffney High School in South Carolina, and Rivals has him rated as a 3-star or 84. And I thought this was an amazing scouting job by the ECU staff, and it shows where college football is headed in general. As we go through these highlights, you'll notice 2 main things about Zion. The first being he's projected as an edge at the next level, but he didn't really play edge in high school. One of the main reasons for this was Zion's teammate, Kelton Smith, who also was a 3-star ECU commit, has that prototypical size. And another key thing I noticed about Zion's game or his build was his arm length. And I can start to see why he projects as a high upside edge at the next level. I can kind of compare it to a basketball analogy with a player like Cedric Coward or J-Dub on the Thunder. Those guys kind of shot up in the draft, and you can see that with Zion. As he continues to fill out that frame, it's going to be even harder for offensive linemen to get into his chest just because his arms are so long. And you can even see that he has really good pass rushing snaps as a linebacker, and you can see how that arm helps him out. I think this is a player who benefits a lot from being in a group of 5 strength and conditioning program. In my opinion, he's playing a bit closer to 205 than the 215 he's listed at, but he can definitely fill out that frame. Next, I want to talk about Kelton Smith, who played his senior year at Gaffney, the same high school as Zion Rashford. But the highlights we're going to be looking at now come from when he was playing 8-man ball at Spartanburg Academy in South Carolina. And these are probably, I don't want to get ahead of myself, probably the most impressive high school and most dominant high school highlights I'm going to post throughout this video. Kind of reminds me of when Zion's Hoop mixtape dropped back in the day. You're going to see a couple carries and a touchdown catch in here. Remind me of JJ Pegues. Yeah, imagine being a high schooler and after a long day of Algebra 2, you just line up and see 6'4", 310-pound Kelton Smith. Yeah, but when you're talking about this player, it starts with elite frame, rare for a high school defensive tackle regardless of ranking. And you know he was truly dominating at that 8-man level because he still ended up as a 3-star playing 8-man football until his senior year. But shout out to the ECU staff making sure to get out to these charter schools and type of schools that normally have to play 8-man and still finding talent. And for a lot of these type of massive defensive athletes, getting onto the field is just about remembering to play with low pad level. He hasn't really had to at this point since he was just so much bigger and stronger than everyone else. Moving on to the linebacker commits for the 2026 recruiting class. First linebacker we can talk about is Chad Fairchild, 6'1", 215, from Lovejoy High School in Hampton, Georgia. A common theme with a lot of players in this 2026 recruiting class for ECU is, like with Fairchild, they had a lot of multiple offers from big-time schools. Fairchild had multiple SEC offers from schools like South Carolina and from other big-time schools like Indiana, Georgia Tech, and Pitt. Rarely out of position in the run game. When you're thinking of a green dot guy, this is the type of player you want to have. ECU did a good job in a lot of balance in the skill sets of these linebackers, which is needed in the new era of football where the middle of the field is getting attacked so much. A lot of the time you're looking for good zone feel when you're in zone coverage, of knowing that you're reading the quarterback's eyes while also having a feel of the general area where your receiver is at. A unique part of his game I like is he has a lot of reps in game film where he's winning as a pass rusher. He has a lot of good reps in game film as a pass rusher from the 2-gap like Zadarius Smith, and there's someone on the Chargers who they also use in that role a lot. It's a good skill to have as a linebacker, being able to generate pressure between the guard and center. And I like that for a player who I project playing at 240 plus pounds, there's not a lot of stiffness to his game. He's really instinctive and quick to trigger on short pass in the screen game and the run game. I'm just going to let him stay on the field as a 3-down player at the next level. Next, we have LJ Porter, who's a 6', 200-pound linebacker from Huff. Rivals has him listed as a 3-star. And when you're talking about a guy who was a prominent two-way player, also played running back for a team that just won an 8A state title. And a bit like Zion Rashford, who we talked about earlier, the usage and role in college is going to look a bit different than how it was in high school, but that's how it usually is with a lot of these guys, because, you know, you're the best player or one of the best players on the team, you're probably going to be used a lot of different ways. And Huff was really smart to take advantage of LJ Porter's athleticism and use him basically everywhere. In the film, you'll see him making a good amount of plays at box safety. Saw some snaps where he's at a boundary corner position, just locking people up. You like to see that he showed a lot of versatility against some of the top teams in the state. In my opinion, Fairchild is a more traditional linebacker, but a lot of the versatility and athleticism you're getting with Porter will help him have a really deep bag at the next level. The first DB we're going to talk about today is DJ McClendon. He's listed as a safety and he's 5'10", 185 from Tucker High School in Georgia, and Rivals has him as a 3-star. He's listed as a safety, but he has a lot of good reps as a slot and nickelback on his high school film. And as we're seeing with a lot of players in this ECU 2026 class, he had a lot of offers from big time schools like Michigan and Georgia. He's a really fluid player. We might see a rep, I think I put it in here, where he was working against the receiver in the corner of the end zone and the receiver tried to hit him with an in and out move and he just didn't budge. Great job by the ECU scouting department. He actually played at a smaller 4A school in Georgia, which might be why Georgia was a bit late to get to offering him. Noted that he has the range and instincts to play free safety and actually make a lot of plays like PBUs down the field and not just be another body back there in the second half of the defense. Next we have David Coleman Jr., listed as a 6 foot, 165 pound corner, also from Georgia, but he went to Camden County High School and Rivals has him as a 3-star. And we have another player who chose ECU over two big time programs. He had offers from FSU and LSU. The work these ECU DB coaches have on paper of developing DBs at the next level. You can go ahead and take a look at a player like McMillan on the Broncos, gonna get paid a lot pretty soon. Javon Ravel was looking pretty good for Dallas this year. Plus athlete. We're going to see in a lot of the returns he has here, he was a decorated two-way player and returner, but that athleticism leads to a lot of dominant coverage reps, as we'll see here. A lot of athleticism in this group of DBs that ECU is bringing in, and you'll see it translate to some ridiculous reps versus short passes he'll have. In my opinion, David Coleman's shown that with the right, he could develop into a dominant boundary corner. And last but not least, we can talk about Amari Mack, corner listed at 5'11", 175. He went to University Christian in the Jacksonville, Florida area, and Rivals has him listed as a 3-star. Established high school receiver who sort of comes in the same mold of DBs ECU likes to recruit, where they're fast and instinctive, but you're getting a lot of good career production. He had 6 career INTs, and I can see him being a player in the next level who could have one of those crazy type seasons, 5 INT, 10 PBU type seasons. A skill you see with Amari that is usually associated with running backs a lot is the stride length. He has the ability to change his stride length depending on the coverage and how much space he wants to allow the receiver. He eats up ground so quick with his long strides, and you'll see instances where the receiver just cannot separate, but he also does a good job of breaking down his stride length when he needs to mirror his receiver and stay in that hip pocket. Me personally, I think this specific trait hints at his upside as a boundary corner. He isn't someone who you feel has to play in the slot even though he's under 6 feet. Yeah, well, that's all I had for today. If you guys felt like this video was something you'd be interested in and seeing more of, could definitely look into that. Highlights will still be posted regularly due to draft season and the hype surrounding the transfer portal picking up. But yeah, ECU 2026 offensive recruiting breakdown coming soon. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time,